Hey lovelies, Larissa J here, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about how I got to know my husband because we were long distance and we did not kiss until we got married, and we were both virgins until we got married, and we did not live together, obviously, because we were long distance. So at any point in our relationship, we didn't live together. So I know that's definitely different than the way a lot of people nowadays do things. So I want to talk about how we did it and it made it work for us, and it worked out very, very well. I would not change the decisions that we made at all because it all just worked out for the better. So as far as the long distance part of the relationship, at the time when my husband and I were courting, he was living in our hometown up north and I was living down south. So we were in two different parts of the country. And so basically how we worked that out was we're really big on communication. So we communicated a lot. We talked on the phone every day. We also did video chatting. You know how you have like Skype and FaceTime, those types of things we did do, but we also had this app that we used that allowed us to send each other videos throughout the day, and that helped us really to be able to get to know one another and see one another. That one was really, really good. I actually liked it better than talking on the phone sometimes because it just depended on what was going on, but if we were both super busy, I liked it because I was able to do what I needed to do and, get to know him better. And it was the same for him as well. And we were able to get back to each other at our earliest convenience. And I really liked it because we were able to see one another's facial expressions, see each other throughout the day, especially because we did meet on social media. So it was really important to really get to know the person that you're talking to, especially if they're in a different state. You met them on social media. You definitely want to make sure that you are sure about the person that you're getting to know. So that particular app helped us a lot, just because I was able to see like where he was, like what his routine, like able to visually learn his routines, and I could see like when he was going to work, I could see when he was going to the gym, like that kind of thing helped a lot. And also we were able to see like what this person looks like when they're sleepy, what do they look like when they just woke up. So that helped a lot as far as getting to know one another. In addition to obviously the types of conversations that we had, they were really real deep conversations. We talked about everything. Nothing was really off limits. Now, of course, based on like where we were in the courtship, obviously certain things you wouldn't talk about at the beginning of a courtship, as you would need to talk about like right before you get married. But we talked about everything. It wasn't just like what's your favorite color, what type of movies do you like to watch. We, obviously you do talk about and learn basic things, but there were more deep questions, more so geared towards marriage, because when we met, we both knew that we were ready to get married. So we talked about those types of things, lifestyle type questions, habit type questions, faith type questions, finances. Those are the types of questions and conversations that we had. You see, this hair is bothering me. Oh my gosh. Those are the types of conversations that we have with each other, and we were able to get to know each other really well that way. As far as not living together, so we did not live together at all. At any point of our relationship, the first time we were like together overnight, like in the same space, was obviously on our wedding night. So that worked out really well for us. I know a lot of times people say, "Oh, I don't know, you don't know how you're gonna be able to, if you can live with this person, try it out first and see how it goes." But I think the reason why it worked that way for us is simply because of we put a lot of emphasis on the spiritual aspect of things and just really being led by the Lord in our decisions, really being prayerful, and just putting that first, the leading of the Spirit first before, he's so handsome, like that kind of thing. We have so much in common. So it was definitely being led of the Lord, a lot of prayer, and making sure that this person is the person for me. And just being really discerning. For me, it was definitely a lot of discernment and really just making sure that I was in tune to, is this even a person that I sense is right? Because we all know, and I always say, like, And like for me, when I was single, like I had like a little 4 month rule, and I always, I feel like you just know, like deep down, whether you're honest or not is on you, but deep down inside, like we always know if the person we're talking to is the person for us. And I just happened to always know within that 4 month window, I was able to tell if the person that I was getting to know was for me, if it was going to work out, or if I was just kind of stringing it along to see how long it could last, type of thing. So, I was really in tune, but that helped a lot because when you know that this is the will of God for you, you know He's not going to place you in a situation that's not good. So every good and perfect gift comes from Him. So I just had to make sure that this was a good gift from Him, and I asked Him a lot throughout the beginning part of us getting to know one another. Like, Lord, did you send him, or is this a counterfeit? Like, help me to be able to tell who he is and where he came from. And that helped a lot. And that also helped as far as like not choosing. That was just a decision that we made. That was something that I prayed for. I had a journal that I shared with my husband on our wedding night, but it was a journal of all of my prayers that I'd ever prayed for him that just happened to come to pass by God's grace. But in that, I had prayed that the Lord would lay it on my husband's heart to wait to kiss me until our wedding day. And that was just something that was important to me. And I also decided that I would use that as an identifier. So the guys that I dated before I met my husband, when they would say, oh, yeah, we can wait to kiss, and then like they would try me, I knew like, well, that's not what I prayed for, so this probably isn't it. So that helped me as well. But I definitely prayed for that. And so when my husband was so adamant about, sticking to that, I was totally on board because I was like, this is what I want. Like he's actually with it, A lot of times people say, oh, the first kiss, that's how you know. But really for us, it wasn't like how I knew was honestly spiritually. Like I knew in here before anything else. And so I didn't need a kiss to let me know how compatible we were. I just knew that this was the person that God had for me and that this was God's best for me, and I just trusted that. And it was the same with saving ourselves for marriage. You just, in a situation like that, when you're truly committed to trusting God to write your love story and bringing you into that person's life, He got you. So it's the same thing. Like, you're waiting to be intimate. Then you trust God with all those little details that sometimes people wonder about, like, well, I've not seen this, or I don't know how this is I don't know if we're gonna be compatible. You just trust God, and if you know that this is God's best for you, then you know that all of those details will line up and fall into place, and you're gonna be completely satisfied because He knows you better than you know yourself, and He knows what's best for you. So it's really just a matter of trusting God and knowing that He knows what's best, and that's exactly how it worked out for my husband and I. So we haven't had any issues or surprises or disappointments. This whole journey has been a beautiful journey because we trusted God, and it just goes back to trusting Him and trusting that what the Word says is true. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. And delight yourself in Him, and He'll give you your heart's desires. So that's how it worked. I didn't need to live with my husband before we got married. I didn't need to kiss my husband before we got married. I didn't need to have sex with my husband before we got married in order for me to know that He was the one for me. I knew He was the one for me before any of those things. And so when we did experience those things together within the covenant of marriage, it was all just so beautiful. And it is all still beautiful. And we give God the glory for that. So I just wanted to share that with you. It is totally possible, and you can totally make those decisions, but they have to be, you got to rely on the Holy Spirit. Now, if you try to do it on your own, and you just take God out of it and try to make those decisions, then, you could be disappointed because he's not in it. But when you got Jesus at the center of that relationship, He's got you, and you put your trust in that and know that decisions that you're making to honor Him, it's got to be to honor Him, and to stay in line with His word as far as, your boundaries and not doing anything that's going to tempt you to fall. When you're doing those things, you trust it's going to work out. and it worked out for us, and you do it that way and it'll work out for you too. I'm Larissa J. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll be posting weekly, and comment below about your thoughts on saving your kisses for marriage. What are your thoughts on that? I will see you guys soon. Bye.